PUBG is an incredibly large-scale game with a diverse set of maps to be explored. This variety creates unique and engaging battles for PUBG players to experience in each and every game, whether they're casual weekend gamers or the most hardcore veterans. With 40 unique primary weapons available for use, players have 780 possible loadouts to choose from each time they drop into the battlegrounds. Unfortunately, the vast majority of these loadouts never see use. Historic data from the National PUBG League shows that more than 70% of all damage was caused by the top 2 entries in each of the AR and DMR categories. Most players understand this. The versatility and power of certain weapons has led to an extremely stagnant weapon meta over time. My name's Mitch, and I'm going to show you the weapon that has the potential to revolutionize PUBG for years to come. What if I told you there's a weapon option that has the stopping power of the Vector, the easy to control recoil of the M4, and spawns commonly on every map chambered in a major ammo type? I'm of course talking about the MK47 Mutant. Added to PUBG in late 2018, the Mutant has been around more than long enough for most of us to have some experience with it. But since it's an AR with only single and burst fire modes, most players don't bother picking it up except when they have no other option. But the Mutant packs a hidden punch that I believe the PUBG community has turned a blind eye to. To start, let's look at its damage output compared to some other more well-known weapons. 4 ARs make up the most popular weapon choices in both casual and competitive PUBG. The Scar, M416, AKM, and Beryl. Based on their fire rates and base damage, we can find the damage per second of these weapons. For this group, DPS varies as expected from mid-400s to low 500s. Now let's take a look at some common high DPS options alongside the Mutant in Burst Fire mode. We can see that the Mutant comes in at a whopping 573 damage per second, actually outperforming the Micro Uzi entirely and closely matching the Vector and Groza. These three are all hailed as some of the best damage dealing weapons in the game, but the Mutant hangs with them while still keeping its perks that come with being a world spawn AR. The next obvious question is how the recoil and controllability of the Mutant compares to the rest of the ARs. After doing some testing in training mode, the recoil of the Mutant seems pretty comparable to the M4 shot for shot. Mastering the Mutant's burst fire cycle timing is definitely a unique challenge, but it's easily doable with practice. I recommend making a Spotify playlist with songs close to 150 beats per minute, then going into training mode with the music turned up loud. That tempo just happens to sync up well with the burst cycle timing of the Mutant, so it'll help you get used to the muscle memory of clicking with the correct timing. Eventually, you'll find that the burst fire recoil actually feels better than the other AR options up to medium range, allowing you to deal damage in borderline DMR situations more effectively than any other AR can. Of course, you also have the single fire mode to fall back on at even further range. The Mutant is a relatively common world spawn rifle, which allows you to use it most games if you want to. While you might not find one quickly every game you play, asking your teammates to call one out if they find it guarantees that you'll have one almost every game if you want. In the official Super Rule set, the Mutant is set to a 1x spawn multiplier, which means it's roughly as common as every other AR. Here are some tips and tricks to help make the Mutant work for you. The lightweight and vertical grips are by far the best options, as they help the most with keeping the vertical recoil in check in burst mode. I like to run the Mutant with a red dot or 2x scope as a close range sight, and carry a large scope in reserve for using it at range. Leave it on burst mode by default, and get comfortable using it as a really strong mid-range option. It's definitely serviceable at long range too, but with its slow bullet speed it tends to feel like an SKS doing mini 14 damage. In the same vein, try to minimize the number of close range and long range fights you take with it. It's ultimately designed to work in the 25 to 150-ish meter envelope, so carrying another weapon to cover situations outside that range will help you to stay versatile. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video at least a little useful, and maybe it encouraged some of you to start trying the Mutant in your own games. If you do, come back and leave a comment down below with what you thought. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe so I know to make more content just like this in the future. Until then, have a great life, and see you out there.